to the final days of the dinosaurs. A clear picture is now emerging of why the asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago was so catastrophic. Let's show you this animation created to illustrate the findings of the research carried out by scientists into the 200-kilometre wide crater the space object left under Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The study finds that it hit the worst possible place on the planet at the most lethal angle, wiping out 75% of all the species, including the dinosaurs. Quite extraordinary stuff. Let's speak to Jonathan Amos for more on this. Jonathan, I know you get excited about a lot of scientific developments here, but in terms of 1 to 10, how does this rate for you?
Oh, 11 or 12, I should think. It's a staggering event, and scientists have been investigating it for a number of years. They've actually drilled into what is the remains of this crater. As you say, it's buried half under Mexico, half under the Gulf of Mexico. And what they've learned in the last few years, well, it kind of blows your mind, really. When this object hit the Earth, it punched a hole in the crust 30 kilometers deep instantaneously. And then that rock, it turned to fluid and it bounced back up. And it bounced back up in a matter of minutes into a mountain taller than Mount Everest. And then that collapsed as well to leave the structure that we now see on the floor of the Gulf of Mexico. But because they've been drilling into it, because they've run computer models, they've reconstructed everything. And they can tell that this object came from the northeast. It's amazing, 66 million years ago, and they can tell that it came from the northeast and that it hit the Earth at an angle of 60 degrees. Now, why does all that matter? It matters because the way that it came in, it destroyed rocks that were really bad for the climate. And it made sure that most of the gases that were in those rocks went high into the atmosphere, and that changed the climate in the worst possible way. And unfortunately, the dinosaurs couldn't survive it. So we're starting to learn an awful lot more about what changed the planet. And as you know, the dinosaurs went, but the mammals came, and that's us. So maybe it was a good thing.
I mean, it's extraordinarily detailed, this research, as you said, involving a number of people and taking a lengthy amount of time. Just give me an idea of how they were able to gather such detailed information.
Well, we kind of knew from the rock record that there was this mass extinction 66 million years ago, but nobody knew the cause until a few decades ago. They found this structure on the floor of the Gulf of Mexico. Then they start drilling into it and they pull the rocks up. And the rocks, to hold them in your hands, and I've done this because they're kept in Germany, they look quite unlike anything you've seen before because they're all smashed up. There's lots of what we call glass, so this is rock that has melted and then set very, very quickly. And of course it would have produced a huge tsunami as well. The water that was covering this piece of crust on the planet's surface would have rushed outwards, and then it would have all come rushing back in. So, imagine the worst possible tsunami, and then times it many, many times over again, and you get to start to get a picture of what this catastrophic event must have been like. But the more I write about it and listen to the people that do it, that do the research, the more it seems to blow my mind.
And the more we listen to you, you bring it to life for us, Jonathan. Thank you so much for that analysis. Jonathan Amos there. And as Jonathan was saying, there is a detailed coverage of this on the BBC News website. Take a look, because the research is truly fascinating.